Today, we're going to dig deep, literally. We're taking a journey right under the surface of India, into a world we walk on every day but barely think about. A world that, believe it or not, basically decides the fate of the entire subcontinent's agriculture and economy. We're exploring the living Earth itself.
So, let me ask you a question. What do you think it is? I mean, we talk about water, we talk about air all the time, right? But there's another resource. One that's right under our feet, that is absolutely essential for life as we know it.
And yep, you got it. It's soil. But please, don't just think of this as dirt. It is so much more. It's a complex, layered world. Way down at the bottom, you've got the parent rock, where it all begins. Then you have layers of broken down material. And right at the top, that rich, dark topsoil, just teeming with life. It's a living, breathing ecosystem.
So to really get a handle on how important this is, we first need to understand what soil actually is. Let's get a clearer picture of this living ground we all depend on.
You know, it's easy to just say it's a mix of rock and organic stuff. But the most important part of that definition, the real secret ingredient, is the time frame, over millennia. The ground we're standing on didn't just appear overnight. It's the result of thousands of years of weather, geology, and biology all working together. It's an unbelievably slow process.
All right, now that we know what we're talking about, how about we take a little tour? We're going to travel all across the Indian subcontinent and meet the different kinds of soils that really define the landscape.
And check this out. This map is going to be our guide. Just look at the incredible variety here. From those huge northern plains to the Deccan Plateau and all along the coasts, every single color on this map represents a totally different type of soil, each with its own history and its own personality.
So for our first stop, we're heading to the massive northern plains. This is home to probably the most widespread, and you could argue the most important, soil in all of India, alluvial soils.
And when I say widespread, I mean it. This stuff covers a whopping 40% of the entire country. It's literally the lifeblood of Indian farming. Think of it as a gift from the great rivers, the Indus, the Ganga, the Brahmaputra, which have been dropping off these fine sediments for centuries, creating one of the most fertile places on the planet.
Now here's a key detail. There are two main types, Khadar and Bangar. The easy way to remember it is Khadar is the new stuff, dropped by floods every year, so it's super fertile. Bangar is the older soil, a little further away from the river. Both are full of potash, which plants love, but they're usually low on phosphorus. And if you're a farmer, knowing that difference is absolutely crucial.
All right, next up, let's head over to the Deccan Plateau. We're about to meet a soil that has a really special talent. You can think of it as a natural sponge, an amazing little moisture trap.
This is black soil, sometimes called regur, and this picture of the cracked earth tells you everything you need to know. Because it's so rich in clay, when it dries out, it shrinks and forms these huge cracks. But then, when it rains, it swells up and gets really sticky. This cycle of shrinking and swelling is called self-plowing. How cool is that? And there's a very good reason they call it black cotton soil.
See, its superpower is its ability to hold on to moisture for a really long time, which makes it absolutely perfect for rain-fed crops like cotton. It's packed with good stuff like lime and iron, but like a lot of Indian soils, it can be a bit short on phosphorus and organic matter. This soil pretty much defines farming on the Deccan Plateau. Okay, let's do a quick side-by-side on two other really important soils. Over here, we have red and yellow soils. The color is all about iron. It's red when it oxidizes, kind of like rust, and it turns yellow when it gets wet. Then, on the other side, you've got laterite soils. These form in places with crazy heat and tons of rain. That intense rain causes something called leaching, which is basically where all the good minerals get washed away, leaving behind a really dense soil packed with iron and aluminum. In fact, it gets so hard people can literally cut it into bricks to build houses.
So we've met all these incredible, diverse types of soil. But here's the tough part. This vital resource, this very foundation of life, is facing a massive crisis. Our foundation is fading.
And the name for this problem is soil degradation. And it's not just about the soil blowing away. It's about the soil losing its life, its fertility. It can't support plants as well. And it gets shallower and weaker because of erosion and just plain misuse.
A lot of this degradation comes from erosion. I mean, you can see the really dramatic kind right here, gully erosion, where water just tears deep scars in the land, creating what they call badlands. But then there's a much sneakier type called sheet erosion. This is where rain just washes away a thin, even layer of that precious topsoil.
You might not even notice it's happening until it's way too late. Both are just devastating.
And we are not talking about a small problem here. This number should stop you in your tracks. Nearly half of all land in India is suffering from some kind of degradation. That is a mind-boggling amount of land, and it affects everything from food security to the national economy.
But okay, it's not a hopeless story. We know it's causing the problem, which means we also know how to fix it. Let's take a look at the methods we have for mending our soil.
The cool thing is that these aren't just separate ideas, they all work together. In hilly areas, you can use terracing and build small check dams to slow the water down. You combine that with smarter farming, like rotating your crops to keep the soil healthy. And in windy places, planting rows of trees as shelter belts can make a huge difference. They're all common-sense solutions to a human-made problem.
And this picture is just a perfect example of a solution in action. This is terrace farming. It is such an ingenious way to farm on steep hills. Each of those terraces acts like a little dam, catching the soil and water, stopping erosion, and turning what would be a useless slope into productive farmland.
So, as we start to wrap this up, it becomes really clear. The story of India's soil truly is the story of India's future.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? We have to stop seeing soil as just some inert thing we can take from, and start seeing it as a living system that we have to work with. Harmonizing what we do with what the soil needs isn't just a nice thought, it's absolutely essential for our future.
And that leaves us with a fascinating final question to think about. As we look for all these high-tech, modern solutions, maybe we should also be looking back. Could ancient, tough, drought-resistant crops like millet, which are naturally gentler on the soil, be a huge part of the answer to this massive modern problem? The future of India's living earth could very well depend on it.